Welcome, Tag Food. What? First and only podcast about people eating stuff. I'm Mike Lisk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Egg Food. What? Young Michael, how was the week?
Okay, sad news today for all music fans.
Mm.
Tina Turner passed away. I guess she had been ill for a while. I was not aware of.
Was she sick, or I mean, she
Yeah,
was
they said
very.
she'd had an illness for like the last couple of years. So, um,
Mm.
yeah, still
Yeah,
feels sudden though. You know,
yeah. I just heard like an hour ago. It's a total bummer. Yeah,
83 years old.
yeah. The queen of rock and roll.
Believe it or not, she was the first woman ever on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine
I
in
totally
the
believe it.
80s.
It wasn't until the 80s?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
that's a
Shame on you, Rolling
yeah,
Stone.
that's an indictment, right?
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Somebody
Wow.
correct
Wait,
us in the comments if we're wrong.
the comments. These comments. Yes. I have long said that is the single greatest performance on any record of all time. Greatest song and the greatest performance.
For those of you listening, he's talking about River Deep Mountain High. I just
It's
held
not,
up the
it's
album cover.
not the radio, Mike. They'll catch up. It's a podcast. They start from the beginning.
I know.
Yeah. River Deep Mountain High is the greatest. I don't know if that story is true about Phil Spector paying Ike to 25 grand to stay out of the studio.
Yeah, I don't know all the details behind it. I know you're
Knowing what
more
I
of a
know about both
Phil
of them
Spector
makes it
guy.
possible. Where do you rank that record? I put it number one. Years ago, 15 years ago, I was part of a group that put together our the top 50 songs of all time. Were you in
Hmm.
that group?
No, I don't think I was in that group.
Ouch. All right. A little sidebar about that. That'll be next week's therapy session. Sorry.
Okay.
Uh, and I forget what I think like a Rolling Stone finished number one between all of us. And I had like a Rolling Stone at number one and River Deep Mountain High number two. I would say that I just went back to it today to look at it, and I would revise that today to put River Deep number one and drop like a Rolling Stone a little bit. Not just because she just died, and I want it to be all about me. But how do you rank that record?
I don't know. It's a good record. I'm
Oh
not.
my God, it's a good record.
I'm not one of these Phil
Hollywood
Spector.
Nights by Bob Seger is a good
I'm
record.
not one of these Phil Spector is God people. They're effective. The Crystals, the Ronettes, of course. This song, I don't know. It just seems like too much. It's like it's just I get it, the build up. It's just like this build up. But it can be too much. I think.
How can a song be too much?
It's
How
just
can a
like
song that's that great be too much?
overproduced. I'm not one of these anti-production guys. You know that we've had
Yeah,
previous
yeah.
discussions about production of music and so on. But for me, that just seems overproduced. And Phil Spector is always on the brink with that. That was his thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
I
not
think he's
always
so
my
hard for
thing
it.
when he's doing it.
I disagree.
Yeah, no,
Disrespectfully.
that's 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 what we do.
Yeah. Now I have a question about this. And weren't we talking? Oh, all right, easy, Mike. Family. This is a family
Here's the
podcast.
weirdest thing about it. I've been listening to all these tributes, for the past couple hours, and they can't get it through a tribute talking about Tina Turner without mentioning her legs, which I understand because as a boy, I mean, I have fond memories
Oh
of,
boy,
of her
family show, Mike.
of her on all these different variety shows doing Proud Mary.
Yeah,
I mean, I can still see it in
with the fringe dress
the
flying.
fringe dress and yeah, the mini skirts and the legs. I
Cher
mean,
tried to go head to head with her. No,
it's like,
ma'am.
how does she keep the skirt from riding up? You're just sitting there on the edge of your seat. But I think she was one of the people who, as a young boy, made young Michael
Oh boy,
start to feel
I
funny.
like that.
I get a funny feeling just watching her up on stage.
A funny feeling. Was it
A
a
fun,
funny
yeah. It was,
feeling?
I didn't know what it was. I was still in ignorance, innocent ignorance.
Not for long.
Not
Thank
for
you, Queen Tina.
but no, yeah, she's a titan, and
Let's
I
see.
mean, I haven't seen her play. I guess there was a play. She's got a book. I missed out on some of this stuff. I'm not a super fan, but
Yeah.
I admired her over the years.
I mean, you gripe that they kept talking about her legs, but to open up your tribute, you just told us about your funny feelings as a young boy when she was
I
dancing
don't
with
think
that
I'm
skirt.
alone. I don't think I'm alone in that. Yeah, I'm older than you. So
What? Tell you, I've always like that album, Private Dancer.
mhm.
The big hit was always What's Love Got to Do with It, but I always thought that was only the third best of the three singles. Better Be Good to Me, I rock to this day.
Yeah, that's a good
I
one.
love that song.
Yeah.
That's an amazing and Private Dancer, the song, which
Hmm.
I think was written by Mark Knopfler, which is neither here nor there, but I've always loved that. What's the Love Got to Do with It was fine, but I never thought it was a patch on those two songs. To say,
Yeah.
and we're not even going to talk about River Deep, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sort of with you there with Better Be Good to Me. Yeah, that's a really good song. When it
mm-hmm.
comes on, it's like, yeah. She did some great covers on here. Let's Stay Together. She did the Ann Peebles song, I Can't Stand the Rain.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no. Great stuff on there. So rest in peace, Tina Turner.
Rest in peace, Tina Turner.
Another death this weekend.
Oh, slow down. I'm still on Tina. Hold on. I will
Well,
say I never saw the movie. Did you watch the movie, Angela Bassett?
no, I've never seen that.
I don't know why. I mean, I've always loved her.
Hmm.
I love any rock story. I love I
Hmm.
don't love Ike Turner, but he's interesting to.
Yeah, I think that may have been. Yeah, I wasn't interested in a lot of domestic violence, and I
But
know that's
well, nobody's interested in domestic
no,
violence.
no. I know what you're saying, but I mean, it's part of her story,
Yeah.
and but yeah, I mean,
Did she win was she up for an Oscar for that? Do you remember?
I think they both were.
Who played her?
Larry Fishburne.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
So I think they were both nominated.
Yeah, maybe I need to.
Yeah, maybe that'll be a movie of the week
I
for
hate
both
to
of
think it
us.
took her dying to get me off my ass to watch it.
Yeah, that's
She's the
sad,
queen.
but
She's the queen, and she exposes Rolling Stone for. Will you be insulted, young Michael,
mhm.
if I pause that and suggest that it would be horrifying to think they didn't have a woman on the cover until the 80s?
Okay, I'll pause. So we paused the recording for a little research, and it turns out that yes, Tina Turner was the first woman on the cover of Rolling Stone, but I inaccurately assumed it was during the 80s. It was actually the second issue. So
Okay.
we take back all our shaming of Rolling Stone magazine.
Yes. Yeah. When you started with she was the first woman to go, I thought it made perfect sense. She would have been on it. I was shocked when you said that about the 80s. So
Yeah, I
sorry, Rolling Stone.
miscalculated. Yeah.
Rolling Stone, if you'd like to continue with your application to be a sponsor for Egg Foo What, we wholeheartedly apologize.
Is Rolling Stone still a going interest?
They pop up whenever something like this happens, and that and those lists they put out that make me scream and throw my laptop out the window every other week.
Well, actually, that's true. I did pick up their last 500 greatest albums issue.
I think that's other than just like whatever the generic music of the news of the day is, and I don't know if Matt Tiabi shithead is still writing for them, but I think that their sole raison d'etre, that's French, is to put out these lists to make idiots like me scream. So, but we were wrong to throw them under the bus, and we apologize.
Yeah.
Aren't we classy? Look at us. Real-time correction, Mike. Look at us. It's called class. We are integrity first. All right. Now
Now a
you want
little
Martin Amis.
mourning for Martin Amis, who passed away on Saturday. Here's a book I recommend to you, Greg. Money,
Oh,
one of the funniest books.
the
One of the
third
funny.
funniest book you've ever read?
It's one of the funniest. Yeah, definitely. Laugh out loud funny. Yeah.
If only you knew somebody who could write such books.
Well, I thought maybe you'd be interested. You
My bad.
said you've never read them. No interest at all. Mr. Anglophile.
Well, well, I was interested. I tried to read Lucky Jim, his dad's book, and I
Hmm.
just remember like 3 pages in, I was like, ugh. And I just never. Uh,
Lucky Jim is worth reading. You still have it around. I mean, maybe it wasn't a good timing for you, but it's worth reading.
mm-hmm.
I think Money's funnier.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Martin Amis more than his father.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't read a lot of his father. I tried to read Old Devils. I think that won the
Mm-hmm.
Booker Prize.
He seemed
Um,
to have, and this is based on not knowing anything about him really, like a sort of George Plimpton life, this societal, literary society guy who probably went to a lot, was great at dinner parties.
yeah, he was part of a group of writers, including Christopher Hitchens, Ian McEwan. You know him? Some of his books,
Yeah.
Atonement, and some other ones. He's probably more popular than all of them. A couple other writers, Clive James. So they were always interesting to me. So I haven't read all of his books, but I read most of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of the few authors. I actually went to one of his signings in New York City.
Martin Amis.
Yeah, yeah. Had a nice turnout, someplace downtown. I can't even remember the place. But it was a nice turnout. Got my book signed, had a little interaction with him.
How was
Uh,
it?
yeah, he pleasant guy. I don't know if he was smoking then or he had to leave. Apparently the smoking, like Christopher Hitchens, I think, cut his life short.
That'll
73,
get you, Mike. Don't start that shit, Mike. You and
73,
me, we've gone this far without doing it. But let's not
73 is
start
young
now.
by today's standards.
Yeah, I'm not starting now.
But
But you say of all books to buy, money's the number one.
yeah, Money's the number one. There's a short one if you just want to get a taste. I mean, it's not really a good, you know, uh, sample of what he normally did. He did a book called Time's Arrow, where the action in the book actually goes backwards, which sounds like a bizarre gimmick, but it actually worked. That you might want to try that one. I like the information.
Well,
Was good.
let's slow down.
London's Field, London
If,
Fields.
if you tell me I should read Money, I'll order
Yeah,
this.
one at a time. Yeah, that's the one. If you don't like that, yeah, maybe don't continue. He's got he's a stylist. You know,
Yeah.
he's
Everything I
not
read about him, he's a stylist.
he's very into sometimes may be annoying to some people, so there's your warning. But I like this style. I thought he was an interesting guy, wrote interesting essays.
What's another writer you consider a stylist?
Well, his one of his heroes was Nabokov.
Mm.
You ever read Lolita?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
you know
makes
how
him a
that is.
stylist?
Well, yeah, what's that?
I mean, every writer would have his own style.
Of course, everybody has their own style. Let's
And I saw
maybe,
that. I saw that word everywhere. I saw Martin Amis is very much stylist. So
uh-huh.
I don't know if I've ever thought that about any authors while reading. I don't know.
Well, I
Well,
guess maybe.
Hemingway, because he has that style. I hate that chop, 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 chop,
Well,
chop.
he's got a almost like a blank style. He kind of just deadened. I maybe you want to say ornate and sort of each sentence is sort of well crafted. Let's put it that way. He's not just moving the action along to further the plot. A lot of times there isn't much of a plot, which that would be a criticism.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I was a big fan of his
Sounds
books.
like Flaubert. It's less about what happens as much as like the language and the flow of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Updike was sort of Saul Bellow. These were heroes of Martin Amis.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he kind of emulated their sort of unique styles, not but his own style.
Mm-hmm.
He used a lot of British slang. I remember reading London Fields, and there's this. A lot of the characters are going in it,
Mm-hmm.
INNIT.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while before I figured out that was like a little shorthand for "isn't it?"
Mm-hmm.
That's the British are always using, "Isn't it? Isn't it?"
Yeah, and it.
But it sort of runs together.
Mm-hmm.
But London Fields I wouldn't recommend that as a first book. It's pretty grim stuff and it's long. Um, but if you're into it, you should probably check it out.
Well, consider money ordered. And if Amazon has a, how did you hear about this? I will say, my buddy, my partner,
Yeah,
Michael.
yeah. There you go.
I don't know if they do that.
Uh,
So, any other dead people?
no, no more dead people. How about a
Oh,
birthday? Today's
birth, moving to birthdays.
going to birthdays, right?
All
Bob
right.
Dylan,
Wheeling,
82.
82.
He's knocking on heaven's door.
Oh, good one, Mike. You been rehearsing that all day?
I wrote it down.
Got to write that one down.
Yeah, I had to write that one down.
Knocking on heaven's door, Joe.
Knocking on heaven's door.
Hey, let me
82.
tell you what, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Check. You can go ahead and check that one. You nailed that one.
But yes, it's Bob Dylan's birthday. Another big part of my life, his music. Greg is a little more, what would you say? Was a fan.
Yeah, I don't
Not
like.
up to date.
I think it's been 20 years since I really gave a crap,
Uh,
and I don't even mean his new stuff. Like the last time I put any of his albums on to listen to, it has to be 20 years ago. I just the
well, he
more
had that run, Time Out of
yeah,
Mind,
I,
and then
I
he
never
did.
I never got into those. To me, it's all up through, bringing it all back home. I seem to be the only person in the world who can never love Blonde on Blonde. Then I
No, hey, 1 second.
oh, excuse me.
We have to pause when we agree on something. So,
Another agreement?
another agreement, yeah. Because
We are getting soft, buddy.
no, yeah, Blonde on Blonde, everybody, yeah. And I think for a lot of people, that's the biggest, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
I never
there's some good
understood that.
songs on there. Um,
And then the big single was "Everybody Must Get Stoned," and I'm like, that's the genius. Might as well be, we're not going to take it, or you got to fight for your right to party. Let me
yeah,
tell
that
you.
was part of it. Yeah. Then you had one side of the album was one song.
Hmm.
You know, most likely you go your way, I'll go mine. That's a great one. Uh, it did some great songs on here.
I can never. I always assumed
Just
that
like a woman,
I
I
never like.
Want You,
That's okay.
Visions of Johanna. Yeah,
That's
no, there's
good.
some great songs on here. But I don't know. Yeah, I did not gravitate to it.
Ooh. Huh. I always felt like I was not wrong, but for not loving that. Unlike Astro Weeks, for instance, when I love telling people I hate that album. Bring It All Back Home.
Bringing It All Back Home and Highway 61.
Classics. Which of those two do you prefer?
Well, I don't know if you can see this. The record's busting through the spine.
Nobody can
So
see that, Mike. Podcast, bro.
This was one of the I was telling you about when my younger brother would get a hold of a record. So
Mm-hmm.
that record was in the destroyed record section of my
Ooh,
collection.
clearance.
It's
Dollar
not in
off.
heavy rotation anymore. I got the CD now, but the
Yeah.
record was thoroughly destroyed. But those two records, I think I may have even gotten them at the same time. I think I started with Bob Dylan,
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, because it was, I think, his new record Desire came out, and I loved that record.
Mm-hmm.
And then so yeah, then I had to go backwards and get the whole history. Um, Blood on the Tracks.
That's a great album. That might be my, from top to bottom, might be my favorite in terms of like I think I like love or at least like every song.
Yeah, I like the sound on here. He's
It's a
got
lot.
a
It's a little tighter. It's tighter than most of his albums, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, and I think I may be in a minority here. I'm not a big fan of Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts.
I
You know,
like it. It's fun. It's goofy.
it's long. It's long. You know, it's
Yeah,
just one of
it's
his long ones that,
at
you
least
know,
it's fun.
yeah,
I
it's
like it.
jaunty. Yeah, you're right. It's jaunty.
Yeah.
But so happy birthday to Bob Dylan.
I think part of my crankiness with him may be that, and I've never seen him live, but you hear these stories of him live, and like it's hard to picture someone who gives less of a shit about his audience, right? It's like
I've seen him a bunch of times.
Yeah, you like it?
He's yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, he's an icon, so everybody there are there to see the icon
Right.
at the end of his life, right? So it's almost
Yeah, like now
the music
it's
is almost secondary. It's weird.
Right.
The music is almost secondary. His voice, you know, was never, you know, for everybody to begin with. Let's face it. It's gone through various phases over the course of his career. Sometimes you don't like his voice, and his late period voice is it's tough. You know, it's not easy to listen to.
Yeah.
But it suits the music he's doing, so I like it. You know,
Yeah.
but I understand why people would not like it at all.
I can see it like check the box off the bucket list. Like there's no, I mean, this guy plays 9,000 shows a year.
Mm-hmm.
There's no live bootleg tapes going around of any of these shows. Nobody gives a shit about the music of these shows. Nobody's sitting down and listening to it.
Well, like, there you're wrong, Greg. I mean, I think Dylan's fans are the most fanatical out there. So
of the last, like, let's say the last 20 years,
every show you could go on YouTube, man, do searches. There's guys putting together these things from 20 years ago. Yeah, no, I'm on some on Twitter. There's a couple accounts where they'll send you links to recent shows they posted. No, they're obsessive.
Those got to be super fan. I've never once in my life heard somebody go to a Dylan show and come back raving about the show itself and the music. Other than you're right, you got to see the icon. You know, it's your bucket list. I've never heard anybody go, "Oh my God, when he played X, such and such, he blew the roof off the place. This was a moment. He connected with somebody." Never.
Well, in the 90s, he did a bunch of small shows. I think part of it was the Unplugged album he put out. He played a bunch of shows in the Supper Club, I think, in New York. These are like sort of considered, you know, classic shows, and they're good. You know, if I'm going to tip anybody, you want to check out some of these old bootleg recordings to see whether he's shaking his head.
No chance.
No. Well, we're talking about the 90s, Greg. So it is beyond your last 20 years.
Okay, I'll say 30 years, 40.
But, you know, if you go, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm borderline fanatical. You know, I have a bunch of bootlegs. I was in a phase where I was trading dead shows, and then of course those guys are fanatical about Dylan somewhat. So I amassed a fair number of Dylan bootlegs, and yeah, some shows are better than others, but yeah, I can go with you that you have to go back a period of time to get to the quality material.
To me, they're like the Stones, in that if I could do their set list and tell them, "Hey, dummy, play the songs right," I'd love to see it. Other than that, it's like, did you watch what was his latest movie he did with the white paint on his face? I'm drawing a blank.
Well, that was in the 70s. Ronaldo and Clara.
No.
The documentary.
Yeah.
With Martin Scorsese.
I couldn't get through 20 minutes of that. It was like,
no, I watched it.
I understand we're 50 years past his prime, so it's not really fair to like jump on him now. I understand that.
Yeah.
But
on his 82nd birthday.
Huh?
On his 82nd birthday, you're trashing him.
Hey, I'm mourning.
Happy birthday, Bob.
What, did you watch that?
Yeah, no, I saw that thing. I'm like I said, I'm borderline fanatical. So
you're borderline. Okay, that's fair. Hey, I respect that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested what's going on with him. Yeah, he's in my radar,
Well,
all the time. Martin
let me,
Amis was in my radar all the time. I was always interested what he was up to. So I
and he's
lost.
still interesting. Like he does stuff, my ears will perk up. Like, oh, he did what? What?
Mhm.
But and
Yeah.
of course, if I met him, I'd be a blubbering. Oh, you, I love you, Bob Dylan. But that's how I kiss.
Yeah. uh,
But when
yeah.
I think of this day on for birthdays, I think of two people. My buddy Dave Blanco. Happy birthday, Dave. This is how I get people to listen. I just wish them happy birthday and then badger them into happy birthday, all-time friend. And can you take a guess at who the other person is?
Well, I know, so I don't want to spoil it.
Mike, when it comes to integrity, you are the Tina Turner. You're the Bob Dylan of integrity.
Okay.
My old 100 Metropolitan roommate, Larry Anderson,
Mhm.
uh, turns years old today. So happy birthday, Larry.
Is
Boy.
Larry still at 100?
Yep.
He is. Wow.
Yep. That's what I said.
That is amazing.
That's amazing.
Are you still in
But
touch? You email? You?
yeah, we wish each other happy birthday. We'll text each other.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah,
no.
that building is like Mike and the Steam Shovel. The city's building itself around it. It's still there. But yeah, I mean, if I had a nickel for the thousands of hours I spent with Dave having fun, yeah, it's happy birthday. So, more than Dylan. I said it.
Mhm.
I said it. So
Might as well wrap up the musical portion of the show.
my
I
second,
mentioned last week that I was reading Lucinda Williams'
yes.
memoir. Um,
I just scanned for my name in the index. We already made that joke last week.
and of course, I was correct. There is no index.
Mm.
The title of the book is one of those titles that somebody should have said, "This is a title of a book no one will ever remember."
That's a great title.
The title of this book is "Don't Tell Anybody the Secrets I Told You."
For Metal Firecracker.
I'm going to ask you, is that the line from there? Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, no, I don't memorize all the lyrics. So yeah, no, it didn't jump out at me.
All right.
But
That's a
okay,
great one.
well you got it, so I guess it's easier for you to remember, but I don't know.
It's long. If I can keep this summit of agreement that you and I have going right now, it's long, but yeah, I think most people get it except you. So tell me about it. What you
No,
picked up?
it's a good book. I didn't really know a lot about her personal life. It was nothing. I never really went deep with personal details about her life.
I don't really either.
Um, I mean, you sort of get it a little bit in the songs. You sort of know what's going on. I mean, when West came out, you sort of knew her mother had passed away recently. I did not know, and this book goes into great detail, maybe a little disturbing to some people. Her mother was an alcoholic, had mental illness most of her life. There was some abuse to Lucinda personally when she was young.
Mm-hmm.
So it's some of it's really tough to read.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, this was is I got kind of worked up with this. I talk about myself being a cold fish.
Mm-hmm.
But
Not just you, Mike. We all say that.
but there was a part of this book I was getting teary eyed. I'm like, oh boy, wasn't expecting that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It gets pretty heavy at times. So just a word to the wise.
How old is she? She's 70, right?
She's 70, I believe. You know,
She was that was a while there. She was on my list with those choppers.
yeah, on your list.
She was right up my street. If you drew a picture, yeah.
This is when I got on board with
yeah,
Lucinda Williams, self-titled album.
great album.
Yeah, Passionate Kisses.
I just want to see you so bad. That's a
Yeah,
slice.
good ones on here.
But I find, I mean,
Change the Locks.
Um, she started after Car Wheels. She became one of those people just all of a sudden just started put on a bunch of albums. I lost track. Would you say any of them were better than Car Wheels?
You know what I've sort of been listening to. She considers like a trilogy: Car Wheels on a Gravel Road, Essence, and World Without Tears. Is that the name of that album? Uh,
Which one of those do you prefer?
World Without Tears. You know what? I would, yeah, of course, I always gravitated towards Car Wheels on a Gravel Road, but I also like Sweet Old World quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, and you know, I didn't know until reading this book that Rick Rubin was sort of the one who was kind of responsible for the sort of uh, stretch of years between Sweet Old World and Car Wheels on the Gravel Road.
I never heard that
Yeah, I
on
didn't know
him.
that. It was she signed to American Recordings, and you know they were gung ho to put out a record, but then there was like some business stuff going on with they were changing distributors,
Mm-hmm.
and they put her record on pause for 2 years.
Eesh.
So yeah, and actually, what Lucinda Williams' manager had to do to get him to release her was to appeal to his spiritual side,
Oy.
and and the line he used was, "Look to your third eye, Rick. Look to your third eye."
Gross.
And that that did it. That did it. That got Rick Rubin to release her from her contract, and she was able to sign with Elektra and put out the record. But yeah, he was sort of the one behind that long delay.
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. So
Huh.
it was interesting.
I would say Car Wheels is a desert island album, just in terms of how I wore it out when it came out. How
Hmm.
I still love it. I love every song. Everything's great. Even the artwork, like
Hmm.
the artwork just matches up perfectly with the album.
Hmm.
It takes me back personally. You know, we all have albums that take us to a certain year. And of
Hmm.
course, everything always seems better because we were younger.
Hmm.
I just hit New York like a freight train. And so it was like a perfect storm
uh,
for me. So
was that your introduction? Was that the first record of hers you heard?
I had heard the self-titled one.
Uh,
I love that record,
hmm.
but not as much. But I'd liked it. But once Car Wheels came out, I went back and loved it even more.
Hmm.
And
Did you
then it
see
kind of
her?
got lost with all the albums that came out in a bit of a flurry afterwards. I
Have you
always
seen her live?
no,
No.
yeah,
Yeah, I've seen her live a couple times, and actually, when the self-titled album came out, the Bottom Line was still around in New York.
mm-hmm.
One of my favorite shows. I was right up front. So yeah, that was a good one. She always had good bands.
Mm-hmm.
I saw her at a couple festivals. Um, Always puts on a good show.
I always thought the story was, oh, she was such a perfectionist. It just took 10 years between albums or whatever. Didn't you know?
Actually, she talks about it. That was a New York Times Magazine article, and she blasts that writer in this book. You know,
Really?
yeah, she says that like, you know, she was not happy with that article. She didn't think it was fair, and Emmylou Harris gave her some advice after that, saying never talk to a writer in the studio or
Mm-hmm.
invite a writer into the studio because she gave her lots of access, you know, and so I guess this writer was hanging out in the studio, and what does she know about making a record? You know, maybe she thought it seemed dragged out and you know like she was trying to get things right, but I mean that's what you do in a studio, right? You know, so yeah, she talks about how that sort of became lots of people thought that that was the reason the record got held up.
All right, give us the real tea that we all want. What's up with the love life? Still at
Well,
night.
you know what? It is a happy story in that, even though there's a fair amount of she there's a certain type of man she likes.
Let me guess. The bad boys.
Now she doesn't put it that simply. She puts
Oh,
it.
excuse me. I'm just a simpleton.
No, but the bad boys, may not have much intelligence. She likes intelligence, but also, maybe a biker.
She
So
likes
an intelligent biker. That's kind of her type.
intelligent rebel.
Yeah.
So, what is this scuttlebutt I heard about her and Paul Westerberg, which
So
I've
yeah,
never heard a peep about all my years in the industry? Never heard peep about.
she had a brief, let's say, brief encounter with Paul Westerberg. She liked 14 songs.
Ugh.
She loved that album. You're rolling your eyes, not a fan.
Well, I love World Class Fad.
Hmm.
That's got to be one of the best opening songs on an opening album of a newly solo career.
Hmm.
And the rest of that album just puts me to sleep.
Yeah. Well, I like that record, and I saw him on that tour. It was fantastic.
There goes our undefeated streak of agreeing with each other.
So you're like
Well,
you dismiss his entire solo career? Is that what it
no,
comes
no, no,
down
no,
to?
no, no.
That's
I
probably
like
one of his best solo records. What's a better solo record than that?
Suicane Gratification. It's another one of my top 25 albums, Desert Island album. I love that album. Some of Eventually is okay. It's a little blah too. 14 songs, other than World Class Fad, it's pretty dull. Suicane, I would put up with the best of any Replacements album. That's a great album. Stereo and Mono, if it had been one album, would have been incredible. And then he just started putting out things every 10 minutes, and I can't keep up. He's putting out stuff online that doesn't even use his real name. I'm like, all right, we get it. We thought you were cool before. Now you're even cooler. He did some
Oh,
stuff with Juliana Hatfield.
hold on. I think you blew it on the first song of 14 songs. You said
What?
it's World Class Fad?
Isn't it?
No.
Runaway Wind.
Knocking on Mine.
Oh.
Good song.
World Class Fad was the big single. That's a great song. The rest are just blah. They're fun.
Things is a good
You know
song.
what?
You don't like Things?
No.
No.
They're all fine. But until Suicane hit, I was kind of like, gee, I don't know if he's gonna has an album in him that I'm gonna love. And then I love Stereo and Mono. Could have been a single album, but that's okay.
Now I'm with you on Suicane Gratification, and that's considered a big disappointment.
Yeah.
They thought that was going to be the breakthrough album for him. I guess they were always waiting for that big breakthrough album for him.
Well, the story I always got was like they were about to release it, and all of a sudden, like his manager or whatever, his hookup at the label got fired, and so the album got put on the back bench. And
Yeah, there was some behind the scenes stuff, but I mean, I think he was on a major label then, right? I think Capitol Records.
On Capitol, then
Yeah.
I think then he got bumped down to whatever. Yeah, it's always whenever I see or saw reviews, I'm like, how do I love this album so much?
And nobody else did.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you on that one again. Yeah,
Man.
underrated. The public didn't really figure it out. Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, even like Replacements fans are like, meh, whatever. And I love that album.
It's downbeat. I mean, it's kind of depressed. A lot of depressing songs on that one, but I loved it. Yeah, it's kind of.
It's got some rockers, but they're all great.
Back to Lucinda, she wrote Real Live Bleeding Fingers and Broken Guitar Strings about her relationship with Paul Westerberg. She said she would be hanging out with him, and then there would be knocks in the middle of the night with the young Chicky Poos coming back to the hotel.
Oh, the Chicky Poos.
And so she was not having any of that stuff.
Right. You've ruined Pretty Women for me forever. Chicky Poos.
Chicky Poos.
So how long was this dalliance?
Well, here, I'll give it to you. My relationship with Paul didn't last very long because he was so inconsistent, so much of a hound dog. He was a mess. but he had those same qualities that always attract me: intelligence and talent. At one point, he was telling me about what was going on with his wife and their son, and I told him, look, you need to go see a therapist to sort this stuff out. He didn't like that. He was seriously mad. I said, see you later. It was over.
You know what? We should have thought ahead. We should have rehearsed that. We should have acted that out.
Acted
Why?
out.
Why the way she says not a long time.
Uh-huh.
She's
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, it takes two to tango, and as you read this book, the relationships aren't lasting very long. So Paul Westerberg wasn't the only one who didn't last. There's a dalliance with Ryan Adams.
A romantic dalliance?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
know that too, Mike.
And he inspired a song or two.
She's like a boomer Taylor Swift. She's gonna love you. Then
I was gonna make that connection too, but I like how you put it. The boomer Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Thank you.
She got a lot of songs out of her exes. The song that Ryan Adams inspired is called "Those 3 Days." So yeah, both those songs are on "World Without Tears."
Oh, they're even on the same record.
They're on the same record. Paul
Westerberg. I guess we know how long they're dalliance. I mean, he's so much younger.
Yeah.
What'd she say about him? He's an asshole, or?
Well, no. I mean,
did she say something about that big round head that he should have been a Peanuts character?
No, she talked about how she liked Heartbreaker, which I think that's a really good record.
That's a great album.
That was sort of what got her attention. And he's much younger than her. I think he's over 20 years younger.
20 years. Yeah. That's a great Heartbreaker's another just great album.
Yeah. And I saw him around that time, and then, he started going through his various phases, but they had like an incident at some bar. They started making out at a bar, and she got rough with him.
Ooh.
She bit his lip, and to his credit, Ryan Adams did not go for that.
What do you mean, to his credit?
Well, you like people biting you. I'm not
Williams with those as delightful chompers. Lucinda Williams wants to chew on my lip. She wants to get upset.
She drew blood.
So what?
Okay, all right. You're willing to? Yeah, okay.
If
to each his own. To each his own.
I'm not saying I look for it or like
different strokes.
I'm not saying
different folks.
I'm not saying I give that up for every lady, but Lucinda Williams wants to do a little gnawing on my lip.
All
yes,
right.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Now we know.
And that was it. They didn't.
Attention, ladies.
That wasn't the whole 3 days. I hope.
Well, no, that was they went back and forth. They would get together, then he'd go silent. She doesn't use the word ghosted, to her credit. But yeah, it was off and on over a couple of years, I guess. But Lucinda does find some true happiness at the end of the book, and she's been married for several years now. And
she married. She was with that guitar player, Gurf or whatever, right?
More or less. No, I think she was with a bass player in her band. Actually,
come on. No need to throw around aspersions, Mike. Come on now.
No, Gurf, that's a sad story. I'm giving away all this stuff. But they weren't romantically linked. Of course, they were collaborator. He was in her band, and at the peak period of the self-titled and Sweet Old World. And there was tension when he was going to be part of the Car Wheels on Gravel Road, but then they were talking about bringing in another producer, and he didn't like that so much, because I guess
think they were romantically linked.
No,
just rumors I got going with no foundation.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know your source of your rock and roll info.
No source, just pure rumor.
Pure rumor.
Who's the guy she married?
I don't know. He's just a civilian.
Yikes.
No, actually, he worked for a record company. And
well, I'll say this, Lucinda, if you're listening, as you're getting together your application to sponsor Egg Foo What, we say thank you. And if you want to chew on my lip anytime, day or night, twice on Sunday, all you got to do is call. You can gnaw on my lip, my ear, my nose, whatever.
There we go.
Yeah, no problem there.
Open invitation to Lucinda Williams.
Open invitation.
Yeah.
I'll come to you.
Okay.
If she calls up and says, I want to chew on your lip, but you got to come to me, no problem.
Well, we took it easy on our dish this week.
Yeah, I got to say, yeah.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty. As I've
Some of these dishes I'd rather eat nitty gritty.
as I've notified you, Greg, because of your distaste for shrimp, that knocks out about a third of the items on the menu.
How's that possible? How
is
not just
look at the menu.
How can we not substitute stuff for shrimp? Isn't it all the same?
Well, no, we've done that. But then there's a lot of dishes that are just shrimp.
But I mean, can't you just swap in chicken or pork?
I don't think you can swap in chicken and pork for salt and black pepper shrimp.
Salt and black pepper chicken. Bam, I just did it.
Pineapple shrimp.
Pineapple chicken. This is easy.
Aromatic,
like all of a sudden they have
aromatic ginger shrimp.
Aromatic ginger chicken.
Emerald shrimp.
Emerald chicken.
Pung tang shrimp.
Pung tang. I'm going to go pork. Right, like all of a sudden they have these dishes where they have 1,000 dishes. You can just swap in whatever protein you want, but there's this handful of dishes.
I'm looking at my menu. That's what I'm going from.
Yeah,
we've done the swapping out. You know, you've gotten chicken when I've gotten shrimp a couple times.
Yeah,
no, that's a you see that a lot, but we've been at this over a year, so we're getting down to we've sampled a lot.
I don't know why I can't just keep swapping in pork or chicken. Did you want to say a few words to commemorate our 1 year, by the way? We totally missed it last week.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was in May.
Yeah, we did. It was actually on my father's birthday last year. May 19th was the first recording. I mean, I don't know if I posted it that day. It was a learning curve. I was, getting started with that.
Well, yeah, I think back then you'd post the next day. Now I'm barely down to the street level, and you've got it posted. You're lickety split.
Yeah, I've gotten a swing of things.
But I would not have guessed May.
Yeah, so no, I thought it was June, late June.
Yeah. So let's give ourselves a pat on the back for hitting the 1 year mark.
Yeah, thanks to everybody hanging in there with us. Thanks
for everybody listening, hanging in there, participating. I would not have guessed a year, but time flies.
So I thought we'd go easy this week. I ordered something I never heard of before, and found it on the menu. It's a soup, roast pork, yak ga mine. And of course, this was the first time I resorted to, because I knew I was going to mispronounce it over the phone. So I actually told the woman, number 32.
It'd be funny if you fuck that up.
Because, again, I think I'm in this sort of, I'm ordering stuff they don't get too often. So she had to check to see if they had the ingredients, I guess. And they had it. And it was good. I liked it. I saw a photo of your dish. It was similar. But yours was just, what was yours called? Roast pork and noodle?
Yeah, well, it turns out whatever name you said incredibly well, if I may say so. I don't speak for the Chinese speaking people, but sounded good to me. It means soup, something.
Roast pork with noodle?
Yeah, I made sure to translate it before I tried it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to be honest. It almost seemed like cheating. It's like nice fat noodles, broth, and great pork. So it almost felt like cheating. Yeah, it didn't feel like. Oh,
did yours have any vegetables in it? Mine had some vegetables.
No, it had.
I thought I saw broccoli in yours.
I don't think. No, it wasn't broccoli. It was like
celery.
No, it's too
Mine
big.
had like cabbage or lettuce.
Mine,
Uh,
yeah, mine had like some pieces of shredded lettuce. I don't know why, because it's
yeah, yeah.
wilted and useless.
No, mine had
That's
that as
it.
well.
That's it. It didn't have anything else.
Uh-huh.
And yeah,
I
it's really good. But what else did you expect? Noodles,
yeah.
broth,
I
beautiful
mean,
chunk.
I could only get the large size. This is my place has certain soups you can only get the large size. They don't think it's worth it to do a small version.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it was wonderful. But
so
let me
yeah,
ask
it
you
was
something.
very filling. I mean, it's like a meal.
Yeah, those round
Um,
noodles. I don't know if I've ever had those. We use like those round noodles.
yeah, it was a
Yeah,
thick noodle.
thick round
Yeah,
noodle. Those
really
are good.
tasty, filling,
Let me
no
ask.
shortage. What they do, and I think yours was visually like mine. They put all the stuff on top of the noodles,
Mm,
so it's not evenly distributed. I don't know if that's going to be a problem for some people. They want to. I mean, you can do it yourself. It takes some work to submerge the pork so it's evenly distributed. So you're not just eating the pork and the vegetables first, and then you got all these noodles at the bottom.
maybe my vegetables were at the bottom and I just didn't see them because there was probably a layer of a couple of noodles.
Hmm.
Because I just kind of dug into it.
Hmm.
I poured broth in and then I kind of dug into it.
Hmm.
But let me ask you something. I've noticed the last 3 times I got my safety steamed dumplings, just in case I didn't like whatever. This is the third time I've had pork dumplings, and I'm like, they're kind of terrible.
Really?
So after an undefeated record for 50 years, pork dumplings, all of a sudden I keep getting and not liking them. Is it possible my tastes have changed? And
Well,
it's because
again,
of this, and can I sue you?
well, you're always the wild card with where you're going. You've never. How many different places do you think you've gone to over the course of the year?
If we've done, we're coming up on 50, right?
Yeah, I think this is 47.
There's no number you could tell me I would disagree with. If you said 40, 30.
I think that's part of the problem. You still haven't found like a place that totally satisfies you that you want to return there.
Yeah, but we're talking about pork dumplings. They're usually pretty
Oh,
standard.
right. Yeah, those should be.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like the other stuff, I understand it's going to be tricky or who knows. But
Hmm.
pork dumplings, all of a sudden, they're kind of disgusting.
Well,
It's
yeah.
like you hear pregnant women talk about, I love baked hams. I just try to eat a baked ham since I'm pregnant. And I don't like it. Is
Hmm.
my taste changing?
Hmm.
I'm evolving, maturing. Maybe I don't want Lucinda Williams
No,
better.
I think you found a place that is not can't even make dumplings, which is yeah, that's a place I would check off my list.
Well, this is like 3 straight places. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I have to go back and see what
Oh,
they were.
three different places. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
All
like
right.
I'm surprised every time. I'm like, usually at worst, they're tasteless to good.
Mm,
Whereas these each time it's like, ooh, I hate to think my tastes are evolving.
mm. Well, I don't know what to say. I've been fortunate. I've settled on three places close to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I went through, I think the first third of the year I was going to one place, then I switched it up to another place. Now I'm on my third place. And this place is going to be, I think I'm settling in. They've got a few dishes the other places didn't have, so and they've got the fried noodles with the soup. So that was the deciding factor.
I mean, yeah, it seems to me like if you can't like pork dumplings, something's off.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, the dish it was I'd say fantastic, but it's such a simple dish. It's so easy and unaspirational. It's kind of odd to even give it a too high of a score. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, pork, noodles, and broth.
Hmm.
I'd give it a, but it's still, I'll give it an 8. It gets dinged a bit for originality. I'm going to give it an 8.4 out of respect
That's
for
pretty high.
Tina, whose big album came out in '84.
That's pretty high for you. Yeah, I'll give it a yeah, for a soup that I was totally unfamiliar with. It's a nice alternative if you've Want to change it up from your usual wonton or
Good point, Michael.
hot
Yeah,
and sour.
but I guess it like
Check
yeah, I
out
don't
this
I
soup.
doubt it comes in
We don't think
small.
you'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It probably doesn't come in a small just because those noodles are so big. But
Yeah.
it's something to think about.
Hmm.
What are you giving it?
I'm giving it like an 8. You know, good meal, hearty. Maybe more so in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
I got some. Yeah, I sort of overdid it with the noodles. As a backup dish, I think, and I might be still hungry after it. I got the cold sesame noodle,
Mm-hmm.
which I only had a little bit. I'll have another meal out of that later. I also had a near catastrophe at the beginning of my meal where I accidentally knocked off a 2-liter bottle of soda off the table. It ex it exploded. I mean, everything, yeah, it was a literal explosion. I think it was almost like a nearly full bottle. Now, it's gone. Half of it ended up on the floor. I still can't find the cap.
Oh, oh
the,
boy.
the cap like exploded. It literally exploded when it hit the floor. And I'll find that cap one day and I'll slip on it and fall on my ass
Or you'll crack your skull.
and I'll crack my skull.
That's how it ends.
And then and then several days later when the mailman notices that I haven't been out to take the mail in,
Yep.
that's when they'll discover my body.
Or he'll think, oh my God, he finally went on a long vacation.
But the car's still in the driveway. He puts two and two together. I wonder if that's part of mailman's training, because it must happen with regularity. I mean, I know one, actually, I think I know a couple instances where it happened. People I know or knew from one of my jobs. How about yourself? Any mailman stories?
No mailman stories.
No.
Like, do you know your mailman? Like, I've always
Uh,
lived in an apartment building, so.
uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, I see him. He's a young guy with a beard. Usually
Mhm.
has his earbuds in, so I don't think he's looking for conversation. Although across the street, they've gotten quite chummy with him, and I think they have actual conversations, which is nice. Um,
That'd be a great gig if you want to lose weight. I mean, if you're walking all day.
oh yeah, lots of walking.
Yeah. No, I don't
Uh,
have any relationships with my mailman.
no,
But I would think it's part of that training on when to detect if a Mike Lisk is
no
uh,
more.
no more. How funny would it be if your end does come because of trying to pop open a 2-liter bottle of soda to go with your egg foo what dish?
Ironic, right? That would be ironic.
I don't know if that's even ironic. It's
No,
just
sad.
sad.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of funny.
Hmm.
We can laugh about it now.
We can laugh about it now.
But yeah,
Uh,
great dish. You
um,
know what? I do have a gripe. I want to get out of the way first.
okay, here we go. Gripe. Is this the gripe of the week?
I don't know. Do we do gripe for the week?
Yeah,
You know,
I mean
okay.
that's a new segment of the show.
Okay. This can be it then.
Okay.
I hate when you talk at work when somebody's like, "All right, can you take a look at that document I just sent you, or sent you at some time?" And they're looking at it, and they're like, "Yeah, take a look at this, whatever." And you go, you downloaded it like a couple weeks ago. You don't know where the hell it is,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, "Yeah, can you just shoot yours? Can you just shoot it to me again?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, you should have it.
Uh,
We go through this dance. I'm like, well, yeah, but it's quicker. You just shoot it to me. Really?
mm-hmm.
Well, I sent it to you. Let me see when I
Mm-hmm.
sent it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we got to go through this day. I'm like, why?
Uh-huh.
Just send it. Why? What do you have? What are you proving? I'm irresponsible. I lost your precious attachment from 2 weeks ago. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have it up over top of my bed staring at it. Can't wait to talk about Tommy about this precious document. I hope he does it. Just shoot. That drives me insane. I don't understand.
Uh-huh.
Is it rude? Is it just stupid? It's like, I guess.
Well, is there, I mean, I don't want to speculate, but It could be, yeah, this is going to become, this person isn't your supervisor.
That's not a person. It's happened over the years 1,000 times.
Oh, okay.
It
Okay.
costs me fucking nuts. Just shoot it to me
Okay.
right now. It'll take 0 seconds. Gee whiz, I sent it to you. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. It's a simple thing to redo it. They've already got the email. They're looking at it, like
You're
you
looking
said.
at it.
They could just resend, and yeah, it would take 5 seconds. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're like, oh,
Minimal effort, but
minimal effort. No effort. Below minimal.
but there is a way to circumvent the whole situation. Is just get into the habit of saving, your files to a particular folder. When somebody sends you an attached document, just when you open it, right? Did you open that file, you think, in the past?
I knew you'd take their side. Doesn't matter.
This
Yes.
is yours. This is I'm being on your side, Greg,
Yes,
because
of
you
course.
don't want
I
to have
had,
these conversations anymore, right? You
of
don't want to
course
have
I
these.
do. Oh, this is a email. It's about the Dallas Cowboys 1985 team. Let me put it in my Dallas Cowboys folder.
Mhm.
But in 2 seconds, I just don't see it or whatever. Maybe it went somewhere else. Maybe it's a long list of shit I gotta get through. Just send it.
Uh-huh.
And then you're revealing how low priority your time is because you're like, oh, it's no problem. I'll wait.
Mhm.
And then I got to pretend to search for it. Yeah, I know. Got through the sentence, and then 5 or 6 minutes later, finally, well, all right, I'll send it again. I'm like, what? Am I going to be arrested? Am I in trouble?
No, this is the type. I mean, I went through my last office job, corporate job. Well, no, I talked about my last office job last week, but my last corporate job was, yeah, it was unpleasant at the end, and basically it turned into lots of nitpicking. There's nothing like office nitpicking, and this falls under that category.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how they get you.
Are you testing me? Is this going to go into my review?
It's an accumulation.
Wilson could be CEO, but he's not great with his attachments when we're in a meeting.
Yeah.
He's not ready for the show.
Well, that's why I'm trying to give you some advice to cut this stuff off at the pass, and because yeah, if they start nitpicking with this, they'll start nitpicking with something else. It becomes a yeah, you've got a target on your back.
I like, are you teaching me a lesson?
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't you be annoyed? Like, I've been on the other side. I just go, oh, no problem. I'll shoot it to you right now. Because I don't want to sit there twiddling my thumbs while you're pretending to go search through your folders. I've been on the other side too. Yeah, no problem. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like if you don't have the one I sent 2 weeks ago, this one's classified. You can't look at this one that I'm looking at. It's the same shit.
Here's another idea. It's yeah, I mean, it's not even a matter of I mean, you probably have save mail option, right?
Mike,
Maybe
I swear to God, if you keep taking their side, I'm flipping this over. Flipping this laptop over.
So yeah, you don't have to
99% of the time. Oh, I've got it. No problem.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the 1 in 100.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, I can't find it. You mind sending it?
Yeah.
Oh,
everybody gets lots of emails.
Yes.
And it's hard to track them all down.
Just fucking resend it.
But most email programs have the saved mail. So how about just clicking saved mail on the ones that have attachments?
How about just send me the fucking thing again? How about that? How about that? In the 3 seconds it takes you to teach me a lesson, you could have just resent it. Hey, boss. Yeah, I got to tell you about Wilson. I had to resend an attachment. It took me 0 seconds. Can we get rid of him? Come on.
No, there's a lot of, I mean, I'm talking about my own experiences working in publishing now. Just so much anal behavior that I'm not an anal person, but publishing attracted a lot of anal people. I get it. You got to be somewhat meticulous with texts and so on. But yeah, sometimes the anal behavior would just extend beyond the books that you're working on. And yeah, you had to deal with some weird stuff.
Not once in my life have I ever said, really, gee, could you take the next 10 minutes and look for it? Never. Not happened. Here it
Uh-huh.
is. Bam. Let's
Yeah.
move on with our fucking lives. I got Egg Foo Young Egg Foo what to record later on. I can't be sitting around waiting for you.
Uh-huh.
That drives me nuts.
Yeah, no,
Always has, always will.
I get it. I get it.
Sorry,
That's all right. No, it seemed like it had to get out, and if we can help you get these things out, any more. I mean, people are weighing in with advice for you regarding your chit chat,
they are.
evasion.
What are they saying?
Well, I somebody said, like, have you tried getting on at the last car of the train? This way, you're at the back of the pack of the people, so it
Yeah.
gives you some distance.
I thought about that. We
You
talked
thought
about
about that? You haven't tried it though?
No.
No.
But I do have an update though.
Yeah.
Get a load of this. This is kind of spooky. So last week, Thursday, we had a like a town hall, like an all hands kind of thing. Like we all in a room and there's treats and the important people give a speech and whatever. And I see the person sitting in this row of chairs, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go sit by her.
There you go.
Or near her. Like there it wasn't packed, so it was enough seats. I like sat next to her. Hey, what's happening? Made a little joke. I'm sure I was delightful. Whatever.
Yeah. Head nod.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, it was more than a head nod. I thought you were just going to give her a head nod.
No. Hey,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Yeah.
I'm sure I said something brilliant. She probably wrote it down. I'll ask her. And then these two other girls come and sit down in front of her, and they start talking, and all of a sudden she goes to one of them, "Are you on such and such train?" She's like, "Oh yeah." She goes, "I thought I saw you 2 or 3 times over the last couple of weeks getting off the train. I wasn't sure it was you in the crowd. I was, thinking about following you to see, and then they're like, oh, you get off here, you get off there. Where do you live and whatever?" And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? She put me, is this for me? Is she sticking it to me? Is she trying to let me know that she knows?
Yeah.
Through these people?
Could be.
It seemed a bit on the nose. Like, I know as I'm saying this, I'm like, who do I think I am? Like, this person's world revolves around me. But it seemed a bit on the nose. Like broadcasting with this other person. I'm not saying they planned it or scripted it, although I do think that's what happened. Let me ask you.
So they knew they've had this ready. They've had this, ready to this master plan ready to spring on you whenever you were in the same vicinity.
It was right. It's a little too on the nose. And it's like, maybe that's a new segment where I ask you, hey, Mike, is this person sticking it to me?
But I'm going to say this. Yeah, I mean, you're a large man, and
Thank you,
you stick out in a crowd. So I don't think, it would really apply to you, because if I see you in a crowd, you're going to be sticking out. I'll see that head of hair. Just, I don't even need to see the front of you. I could just see the back of you, and I'll know it's you.
But do you think that she was broadcasting this to them to let me know that she knows what I've been doing?
No, the way you complicated this whole simple human interaction is just remarkable to me. You posted your dilemma you had with a bus driver. You wrote about it. How many years ago was that?
16
14.
I don't know. It was like 2010 or something.
So this has been an ongoing problem with you and the most basic human interactions.
Yeah,
and
but
I find it amazing with you. You're not a demure person. You're not shy. So it's almost like this is like something I would imagine, somebody who suffers from shyness or is just hard to interact with people. But it's sort of it's taken me aback, because you're the last person I would ever think would have this dilemma.
I think I'm as shy as most people with not strangers, but with people that you're not friends with, but you're acquaintances with. You have to do. I mean, You love small talk?
Small, what, where are you having these deep these deep, serious conversations? Most of life is small talk, right?
Yeah, but
Right.
you act like I'm crazy for wanting to avoid it.
A little bit, yeah. Why why would you be afraid of this? Is just daily life. Daily life
But if
is
you could
dreary.
avoid
It's
it,
dreary. It's boring. Most of daily life is dreary and boring. I
yeah.
agree with you. I'm not saying chit chat is some sort of you
Like you
know,
made a point last week. You were like, "I'm a bartender."
right. Well, yeah, I'm
Well,
forced to
yeah.
enter.
If people were paying me to sit around and talk to them, I'd do it too.
But here's the thing: you're just, yeah, you're not interacting with every person on the train station platform. But
Mhm.
for somebody who from work or whatever, if you happen to run into them, you know, for 5 minutes, are we talking about? How long is the walk?
Off the train, it'd be about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. So it's not like you're taking a hike on a trail with this person and you've got to speak to them for the next hour and a half. 5 minutes. I
You
want
would
your life
regret
to
that.
be
Let me ask you this: if you saw that coming and could avoid it, wouldn't you? I understand it's not. Nobody's drafting me to go fight in Vietnam. They're not asking me to dig ditches in July. I
Mhm,
understand this,
mhm.
but it's a simple, small thing. If you could avoid it just by stepping behind a pole, a column, or something, pretending to stare at your phone, wouldn't you?
if if the encounter is unpleasant, if this is a person I do not like talking to, yeah, I would do that. But nothing you've said has suggested that this person is unpleasant.
Not at all. She's not unpleasant at
Exactly.
all.
So
Wonderfully nice person.
that's what I'm saying.
That's not the point, though. The point
Hmm.
is, if you could see it about to happen, and the god of small talk pops up and says, Mike, you can either do the small talk for the next 5 minutes or just wait 30 seconds and just it never has to happen. Which would you pick?
Well,
You can
yeah,
listen to you got your headphones popping. You're
people
listening
have
to the
given
happy
you.
you're listening to the Happy Scene box set from last year. You're grooving on disc 3. You're like, wow, this is
All right, do
Wilson.
you listen to music on your commute? Do you have your Are you listening to music? That might be a way out.
Well, of course, everybody has. I'm listening to podcasts or music. Yeah,
Oh, well,
that's what everybody does. That's what
well,
she's probably doing.
you didn't mention that before.
Well, that's what everybody does. But once you make eye contact, once you see each other, then you have to do the
Okay.
you
Well,
know.
that complicates things. I
Now
thought
I
you
got
were.
out of it that first time because
I didn't know you had earplugs in your ears during
well, it's
these encounters.
2023. Like I
You
mean,
know. No, I never walk around with earplugs in my ears. Never done it. Never will.
you don't listen to music when you walk around or
No.
podcasts.
I like to be where I'm at. I don't want to be in some faraway rock and roll world. Isn't life interesting enough that I can walk without
You said it
being,
was boring.
well, yeah, but you have to adjust to the boredom. You can't be listening to music 24/7.
How does someone who loves music or like I listen to podcasts now as much as I do music easily, probably more. How does someone with a history of loving music as much as you not have,
Just
you
a
know,
thing. Never did it. I was a book person. I
yeah.
took books on my commute.
Well, I do that too. I do
Mhm.
usually on the ride home, I'll read,
Mhm.
but on the way there, and anytime I'm walking around, if I pop down and go to the store, I'm listening to music or podcast. But once you make eye contact,
Mhm.
now again, if the god of small talk popped up and said you have a choice to avoid it without it hurting anyone's feelings,
Mhm.
not anyone knowing it, no consequences, easy breezy, what would you do? I know the answer, but I'm going to let you stumble around until you land on it. What would you do?
I've never I've never been in that situation, for one. I mean, there's people who, when I was in my commuting days, um, occasionally, yeah, I come across a coworker or whatever. I never thought of it as being unpleasant to just have some sort of chit chat.
No. That's not the point. If you could avoid it, would you?
Yeah, I'm not going to hide. Yeah, I don't think I've ever hidden, behind a pole, behind, another human body on a subway car. Yeah,
You're avoiding the
I never
question.
held a book in front of my face
You're
to
avoiding the
like
question,
block
counselor.
my face from somebody.
You're avoiding the question. You wouldn't say, yeah, you know what? Let's just avoid it.
Yeah, no, there's, depending on your mood, what's going on.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
I could
dodging
see.
us.
Yes, I could see doing it, but I wouldn't become obsessed with of trying to avoid it every single time. It
I'm
wouldn't
not
be.
obsessed. She's the one. She's the one popping up around every corner. She's the one sending the signals through her friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can't
no,
tell
this
me that's
is
not weird. You can't tell me that's not
it.
weird.
It's weird. No, I'm right there with the weirdness of this whole thing.
But her
This is what, our
broadcasting to her
third week we've been
friends,
discussing this.
her
So yeah,
broadcasting to her friends, you'd admit that's a bit weird on the nose.
yeah, no, it's something to ponder. But it's something
All right.
to
You are a slippery witness, Mike.
grist for the mill. Yes, definitely.
All right, slippery witness.
Grist for the mill, and we've gotten 3 segments out of this so far. I don't think we've
so
heard the end of this.
So far this week, nothing's happened.
Yeah.
So, except, I do have one work thing. I'm always lugging my computer back and my laptop back and forth every day. But then I'm like, why don't I just leave it here at work?
Right.
Instead of, and then, they give you a key, you have your desk and a couple of drawers, and the drawers lock. Which I've always been like, what do you, what? But then I was like, and I've seen people take their laptop, stick it in the drawer, and like lock it. But then I'm like, there's a cleaning crew coming. If for some reason they see that your desk is locked, aren't they going to be a little insulted? So then I'm like, well, I'll be clever. I'll put my laptop in there, locked it, and like hid the key on my desk. Then I was like, well, that's stupid, because then they can be like, well, if they want to steal it, they'll be like, there's the key. Then I was like, well, maybe I'll be Mr. Open, not open. I'll lock it, but leave the key in the thing. So it's like it's saying, hey, this is stuff I'm locking. Please don't go in. But the key is there, so I trust you. But then that's
now you're overthinking it again.
That's kind of offensive.
I think we're getting to the heart of the matter.
So can I just leave my laptop on my desk?
I think you overthink things, and you overthink what people are going to react. Cleaning people are. I mean, you've been in the office when the cleaning people arrive. They're not going through the desks.
Right.
They've got their own work to do.
Why don't I just leave it on my desk? They're not gonna steal. They're not gonna lose their jobs because stealing a laptop isn't worth losing a job. Obviously, it's safe. They're not messing with anything. They don't care.
So I'm going to tell you what to do, Greg. I'm going to tell you what to do.
Why am I going through this route?
Yeah, you're overthinking it. Put it in the drawer, lock it, and you're good.
Well, why do I need to lock it? They're not going to steal it.
Because it's something that is worth stealing. And you have what they call peace of mind. You don't have to.
Key. And that's a key I got to worry about losing.
Do you have a keychain?
No.
You don't have a keychain.
No.
You don't have a key to where you live.
No, I have it's on my phone. Unlocks.
All right. Then in that case, I would find a little, put it in a sort of spot that only you would know, underneath a book, or I don't
want to be insulting. Like,
who's going to be insulted?
I don't want them to think that I think they're going to steal something. But then I just think it's weird to leave the laptop on your desk overnight.
Everybody assumes somebody might steal something that's valuable. It's not an insult to them. You're just securing property that is worth something to you, right? When you lock a bicycle up in public, you leave a bike and lock it. You're not assuming everybody's a thief.
Steal that.
You're not assuming everybody's a thief. You're just securing your private property.
I guess I just think it's weird to leave my laptop on my desk. So I feel like I have to put it somewhere, and then that triggers, like, I don't want somebody to be like, why are you locking it? You think I'll steal it? Yeah, of course I don't.
But
But
nobody's going to, I'm telling you, that's your overthinking.
I think what I need
Why
to
are
do,
you putting yourself in somebody else's, you know, mental framework? They're not, they're
it's
not,
called being empathetic, Mike. I think about other people. Guilty as charged. Put me away.
they're not, they're, no, who's going to be insulted because you locked up an expensive piece of property? And I mean, what's this laptop's worth a couple of $100, right?
Not even my property.
Uh-huh. All right.
No.
Well,
I think what I'll do is because I can't leave it on my desk. That just looks weird. I don't know why. Throw it in that desk drawer.
put something over it.
Don't lock it. And that's it. Right?
Put something over it just to be on the safe side. So if this imagined thief who you think is going to be insulted because you're securing your desktop, your laptop, at least they have to poke around a little more if they're really stealing.
Oh, who's poking around? Then what if they just accidentally open it and then they see that I thoughtfully put like a flannel shirt on top of my laptop? Then they're like, oh, this dumb motherfucker thinks I was going to dig through his shit to find the laptop. Then they'll be really pissed.
No, they won't be pissed because they will have stolen your laptop by then, and they don't give a shit what you think about them, right? You're overthinking the reaction of the potential thief. This is what I don't understand. This is just normal behavior to secure, private property that's worth a little more. Everybody does it. It's not assuming everybody's a thief and you're insulting people.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll start with putting it in my drawer. Maybe throw a couple of sheets of paper on top.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if I love that, but I'll try it. I don't know.
I hope somebody steals it the first day you do it. I hope they steal it now. I'm rooting for the thief. You've overthought this so much that you're worried about insulting the thief that you deserve to be ripped off.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Speaking of being ripped off, I found a segue. Here we go. Food in the news.
Nice.
Food in the news. Have you heard about this $700 burger?
Aren't they? They always pop up, right?
I know it's
a
thing.
Gold leaf something, I'm sure.
This is the gold standard burger, and it's a place called DBG in Center City, Philadelphia. It's got A5, whatever that means. Wagyu beef. We were just talking about Wagyu.
Talked about that. Yeah.
Caviar. This is just stupid. Truffle. Lobster flambéed with Louis XIII cognac. Gold leaf. I didn't know gold leaf was edible.
Yeah, that's always in those burgers. Yeah.
There's gold leaf in Goldschlager. Remember that drink? Is that still around?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't know.
And then there's something called Wexford aged Irish cheddar. Have you ever heard of that? I guess Ireland has got a.
Is it the burgers in Ireland? Because I've been to Ireland. Nobody over there has $700.
No, just the cheddar cheese that's put on the burger.
Okay.
Now
I've insulted Ireland.
Yeah. But
they're gonna someone from Ireland's gonna break in and steal my laptop.
But you're right. I mean, these things could pop up all the time. I guess it's a bragging rights for the super rich to say you spent $700 on a hamburger. But I also saw a story. This is even worse. World's most expensive. So yeah, that there's the world's most expensive scoop of ice cream. $6,696.
Is there some significance to that number?
Yeah. How did they arrive at it? I mean, the ice cream itself was concocted by a scientist. We've got scientists involved in creating food now. This is called Baya Kuya. And yeah, another ridiculous, I guess, display of wealth. I guess people have this money, right? I mean,
Why don't you take a McDonald's cheeseburger, put a $500 bill in it, and then sell that for $1,000?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
McDonald's, as you're filling out that application to sponsor Egg for What, we're happy to work on that and or other ideas. And none of those things sound remotely appealing. Even if I have all the money in the world, are you trying this?
Huh.
I guess if money literally doesn't matter, you'd try it. That burger doesn't appeal to me at all. Who knows what the ice cream's made of?
Yeah. It's
Hold on. What did you say? Let me 6,696?
Yeah.
All right. If you flip that upside down, it's 9B99. 9699. Now, 9699 minus 6696 is 3003. 3003. Now we're on to something. What do you make of that?
I don't know what to make of that.
All right, we'll figure that out. We'll have a week to figure that out.
The last, are you a Starbucks guy? Have we established this yet, or?
Oh, I like Starbucks.
Okay.
All coffee to me is kind of like all tastes the same, but yeah, I like to go to Starbucks and get a cup.
Well, they were in the news.
Their food is surprisingly. Every time I've had food, it's pretty good. So yeah. I like Starbucks.
Well, they were in the news. They're changing their ice cubes. They're changing from I guess cubes to nuggets, which is more like crushed ice, I guess.
Huh. Is there a reason?
No, they're probably probably economic. They're probably going to save some money. But fans are already objecting online. They like their ice cubes. They don't want crushed ice.
Huh. I don't know if I have an opinion.
One versus the other.
Well, one would melt fat. Wouldn't that crushed ice?
Right, the crushed ice, yeah. So I guess the thinking is that crushed ice melts faster, so it's diluting your drink faster. Whereas cubes, it takes a little longer. I'm more of a cubes guy. I'd rather have cubes.
Yeah. I wonder if some wizard over there figured out, they save a penny. Crushed ice seems to take up the same amount of space, but somehow doesn't. I don't know. How great was that breakdown? Pretty good. To be honest,
I think we tackled that subject quite effectively.
To be honest, I don't know if I would notice the next time I'm at Starbucks and but yeah, I would be cubes.
Here's my fortune cookie. You got one? Oh, wow. Look at you. Let me see. Yeah, these are getting dumber every week.
Always take a little bite. Yeah, we should have been cataloging all our fortune cookies. See how, like, what, 1 out of 50 has been quasi-useful? Huh. Uh-oh. You go first.
Knowledge and not doing are equal to not knowing at all.
Well, they taught themselves. That may be the dumbest.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Now, this actually is a fortune. And it scares me because I have a second fortune cookie, which, should I be insulted that I order so much food that they assume it's more than one person? This says a lifetime of happiness lies ahead of you.
There you go.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Now, do I roll the dice?
No, you don't.
I'm not tapping this. All right, I'll put this fellow over here.
You do that.
Open it up. It says, you should have stayed with the first one. Dart comes.
Yeah. Now you stand on that fortune.
Stand on it like Springsteen. You're trying to throw that back in my face?
Yeah, I'm throwing that back in your face. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for listening.
Whoa. I have a beef with you.
Oh, beef. Okay.
about a certain poll that went out this week.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
I don't know what
Uh,
happened with you. All I did was say, do you prefer mustard or mayo on a ham sandwich?
mhm.
My poll was out maybe 3 minutes, and you come in.
It wasn't 3 minutes.
It was
There
about
were there were at least 45 votes cast in your poll. The thing was
somehow,
the thing
but
was
somehow,
leaning like the Tower of Pizza.
but
Another lopsided poll for Greg Wilson.
I had it set up as a legit A/B. Do you like poll? You
Right.
turned it into I'm mayo, you're mustard, and we cannot. I said on the podcast, I got no problem with mayo mustard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you went with this. Why? Number
Well,
one,
here's the thing.
not a real poll.
On the podcast, we were talking about ham and cheese sandwiches. Somehow you went off kilter with just a ham sandwich because the discussion was ham and cheese sandwich.
Uh-huh.
And what do you put on a ham and cheese sandwich?
Uh-huh.
And you said mayo.
Right.
I said mustard.
Right.
So then you start this poll, and it's not even reflective of what we were talking about. It's just a ham sandwich. Who eats just a ham sandwich?
Well, then who eats just a ham sandwich with lettuce and tomato, whatever you were saying? The point was the mustard or the
I
mayo.
said mustard. You're the guy who brought in lettuce and tomato and mayo.
Not in the poll.
Not in the poll, no.
All
That's
the
what I'm
poll-
saying. Your poll went off in a whole other tangent. It
How could
wasn't anything we discussed.
How's that possible? It's just mayo or mustard.
All
How's
right.
it
Well,
possible?
after 45 votes, it looked like a clear,
So we
trouncing.
don't know because it wasn't A/B.
Mayo was getting
C/D.
Mayo was getting. No, I'm talking about your poll. Your poll.
Yeah.
Mayo was getting trounced before
Sure. I have no problem with
intervened.
that. I have no problem with it. You turned it into me versus you.
Well, people
I
were
said-
responding. People
I
were
said-
responding, saying
I
they
know-
wanted both. They wanted both
Yeah.
mayo
Well,
and
they can do
mustard.
their own poll.
Anybody can do their own poll.
If I wanted it to be I'm mayo and Mike's mustard and we're going to kill each other, I'd have done it myself. I did it as egg for what? I said mustard and mayo.
Mm-hmm.
I have no beef with mustard. I'm perfectly fine if mayo gets trounced. I simply go, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But once you start adding other things to a poll, then it gets diluted. Then we don't have a real answer. I'm fine saying, you know what? I think mustard is the majority choice, or whatever. I'm fine with that. But you messed it all up.
I don't know. I think we got a clear answer in both polls. In both polls, I think a clear answer was made, and to deny that is just to deny reality.
I'm starting to think you don't know what a poll is. That's where I'm at.
Okay, no more polls.
You can't have a poll, two things, if you add in two more choices, because then it gives people two chances to not pick one.
Well, there were two chances that had mayo in them. Actually, there were three chances that had mayo, and I think even if I added up all the ones that had mayo in them, it still was less than mustard.
But you don't know if it's a true mayo or mustard if they're like, oh, well, what about lettuce and tomatoes and whatever your other choices were?
Well, let's just call that a runoff election,
I got no problem.
and then I'll post another poll. And it'll just be, what do you put on your ham and cheese sandwich?
Okay, I didn't know the and cheese was. So,
Yeah.
So are you saying some people get a ham sandwich and put one thing on it, but if there's cheese, they think of a different condiment? I think if they do mustard for one, they do mustard for the other, and same with mayonnaise.
This is becoming maddening. And I do not want to drive our listeners mad with this discussion. I will post another poll, and it will be for the people to decide. Or you can make comments in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button.
These comments.
And listen to us next week. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody. It's been a great year. Hopefully we'll have about 50 more of these years. I meant years, not episodes. That didn't sound right.
No, it doesn't sound
Long
right.
time ahead of us, Mike.
Uh-huh.
It's been a great year. Thanks for everything. I've enjoyed every minute, buddy.
Okay.